Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Final Fantasy Randomizer Irongol Heavy Metal Championship. I am Kurant, and I'm here with my co-com today, Shadowed Flames. How are you doing today?
About as well as can be expected, given, well, it's a Sunday.
Hey, well, Sunday is fun day, especially when it comes to Irongol Championship Magic. We are getting ready to start right now. We have ourselves a championship match between Spellzapp and BurtReynoldz, and I'm about to drop the gate just a second, so give me a moment. We will get that gate dropped to get you guys underway, and we will chat about some flags. Now, having looked at the flags a little bit today, it's going to be interesting, to say the least. This is the first time I've done comms for the randomizer since the big site update, and they have been doing a lot with these flags. We have shuffled magic levels, we have item magic that's been shuffled around, we have the usual skills and spells and such. We have only Fighter and Thief choosable as classes, and those classes have been cursed. The Fighter, I believe, has Black Magic Strength. The Thief has minus 15 Strength and Vitality, with a slight benefit to hit. And there's all sorts of things that have been just tossed around and put into a blender and made all sorts of crazy puree. But it is going to be, I think, a lot of fun. And, of course, these two guys are some of the best that you'll find in the community in regards to the Final Fantasy Randomizer. So it's going to be quite the treat. I hope everybody has fun with this seed. The gate is dropped, and we are good to go. So it looks like... Oh, that's another thing. We have entrances randomized all over the place. Town Shuffle, Entrance Shuffle, Floor Shuffle. Everybody is all just crazied up, and we see that already. We see BurtReynoldz running around Crescent Lake talking to the confused old men, and we see Spellzapp looking at weapon inventories that have been blessed or cursed depending on how things roll. So it is all sorts of insanity. And we have BurtReynoldz finding a confused old man who gave him 2,500 G, which is certainly not bad. But it's also a dud because we have 5 dud locations as part of these seeds. So, hooray! It is... Oh boy. Alright, so I see level 1 life. I see Spellzapp running around the item and weapon shops at Crescent Lake. Now, of course, unfortunately, it doesn't really matter... Well, I guess it does to some degree matter what magic you get, because you have one of the classes able to use magic, which is nice. But it's still kind of nutso. And Spellzapp picks up his 2,500 gold. See Burt looking for that Rapier +2, probably for both of the weapon classes. Yeah, especially since it's 8 gold. That's a pretty darn good value for 8 gold. So we've got wood armor and chain armor ready, so everything should be good to go for at least Burt to set out. He's going to check items before he goes gallivanting off. Oh, cheap tents, that's nice. Heal potions, not so cheap. That's not good. One of the other things that has been turned on in regards to the flags is the shop prices are set to start at 100%. So we're going to find some probably awfully expensive stuff. It looks like the Temple of Fiends for our runners has become the Sky Maze. So that's not exactly fun. Looks like Spellzapp choosing to do a, good old-fashioned experience grind off of the imps, which don't look too unpleasant, whereas Burt is going through some entrances, made his way through the Sky Maze, has found Bahamut's first level, and has found the Bridge of Destiny, where you have slimes waiting for you, which, buena suerte, he just resets out.
Well, if it wasn't for that brief little Bahamut hallway, that would almost be a vanilla Sky 4 and 5.
Yeah, just not in the right location. Alright, so yeah, it looks like both runners are going to the kind of early grind, which is understandable. It's worth noting that the king does not give away anything for free today, which you would think the runners might do. They can't find him anyway, but if they had found him in his usual spot, he still isn't going to give them anything because we have that turned off. So, fun times for the runners.
Yeah, the question then becomes, are they going to remember about 45 minutes in when they find the castle if they haven't rescued Sarah yet?
That is a good question. We shall see on that front. It's, of course, that's one of the many things you have to keep track of when it comes to a randomizer like this, where the entrances and the floors and everything's all shuffled around. You have to make sure that you remember all that stuff. Otherwise, it's trouble. Let's see, Burt has found himself the floor below the ride, and he also found himself a bridge.
Yep, looks like that's over in the dwarf cave area.
Well, that's nice. It's rather fitting, too, because there really weren't a whole lot of other areas that they could have gone, so wasn't a lot of places to find progress. Burt goes ahead and saves, and it looks like he's going to get some levels off, or at least attempts to get some levels off these images, although doesn't look like the images are quite cooperating so well. All right.
I mean, even with level 1 harm, I don't think that's going to do too much against those images. You prefer that for like zombies and lower levels.
Yeah. Well, Burt found the carry floor and found a red dragon that ain't playing around, so out he goes. I guess I'd be interested to see. Looks like he's going back to some of that treasure. I guess he's probably going to go trap tiles. Yeah. Unfortunately, the trap tiles seem a little heavy, too.
Well, if I'm running this, I'm worried at this point because we have 2 fiend locations already in the beginning. So that leaves a lot of areas left open to try to figure out where the other 2 are.
Yeah. And it also potentially leaves towns open as well. So, because the towns are shuffled around with everything else. Burt has conquered the bridge boss at 5 minutes, 18 seconds, and is going to get a couple of extra checks. Meanwhile, Spellzapp is making his way down to the dwarf cave, where he will find the earth floor, promptly saves, and pretty much is doing the same thing that Burt did just a couple of minutes ago. Hello, Onrak. Home to level 7 magic, which, good luck with that. Alright, Spellzapp's found his bridge, and now he can go questing off into at least a couple of more locations here. And Burt has found, looks like ordeals over at Provoca, so I'll be interested to see if he's going to tackle it immediately.
Yeah, that's ordeals, alright. Might be a good idea to go in and see if you can manage to get through this, but with being such low levels, I'm not going to put much faith in actually being able to fully clear it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's certainly going to give it a shot, though. If nothing else, he can get the pillar knowledge, so that when he does come back, oh, hello. Huh. Spellzapp found himself a rod hiding in one of the treasure chests that Burt had not checked on that earth floor. So that might be I don't know necessarily if that's going to prove to be a big thing, but with all the items being tossed around and the entrances being tossed around, it's one of those items that could potentially hold a necessary entrance or town or what have you behind it. You just never know until you find it.
Yep, it's always a good idea if, at least in the early going, get as much information as you can, so that way when it comes crunch time and you're trying to scramble through your notes to figure out what you have left to do, you have that much less you have to worry about.
Yeah. Alright, so Burt's still trying to push his way through the pillar mazes and all that. And no, he's made his way to the top, and hopefully the Irongol's won't ruin things for him. Meanwhile, Spellzapp finds the Agama floor over in Northwest Castle, so that's going to be a lot of treasure checks and a lot of money. Hi. And potentially, since we do have a lot of those loose items, you could find a floater sitting in a treasure chest. Hi. And Spellzapp,
that's certainly unexpected.
And Spellzapp immediately saves that, is not taking any chances whatsoever. And wow, hello, Ribbon. And a Ribbon +4, no less. My heavens.
Yep. Spellzapp's certainly making the right play here, at least from what we can tell looking above everything.
Yeah. It's more that with everything being loose like this and all of the usual turn-ins are all vanilla, so the rest of it, is just kind of wide open. It's finding these early treasure chests like this is a pretty big deal, especially when you're on the Agma floor and you can take a quick save like that and just be able to get out with that information and those items pretty quickly. I'm a little surprised he at least didn't go through the rest of the Agma floor, but I guess he just wants to get that, not really get the floater in as soon as possible because he can't get there yet. But at the very least, he wants to make sure that he is prepared and good to go. He might be picking up more heal potions to further dive that Agma floor.
Considering the first chest was about 23,000, I believe. Good idea to go ahead and bonk out, get some more heal pots, and make certain you're ready for a deeper dive.
Yeah, that it kind of occurred to me as I was saying it. I was like, wait a minute, he's going to get more stuff. So shame on me for not thinking about that before, but oh well. C'est la vie.
And that's why we sit up here and watch these people run it, because we think of the stuff a little bit too late.
Yep, that's certainly the case for me. Alright, so, looks like Burt is making his way back through the at least the Provoca Crystal Cave area. And Spellzapp is getting his locations mixed up slightly. He was going to go back to that Agma floor and got the wrong entrance, which is understandable given that all this is shuffled around as it is. So it looks like, he's going to get a little bit more experience off of at least the Cerberus trap tile. Although the Cerberi look like they want to kind of eat his warriors alive a smidge, which, you could understand that too.
Well, it also doesn't help that he had a nice silver axe just sitting in his inventory and didn't have it equipped.
Yeah, hey, it happens even to the best of us. And it's an RPG staple to make sure that all of your, silver +6 axe, no wonder he wants that equipped. But yeah, it's it can happen to the best of us. The whole, hey, you have this nice thing and, oh crap, wait, you're not wearing it? Oh, whoops, sorry, can't do you any good. Oh, poor thing.
I've done that
wrong end of it.
I care to count.
Well, I've done it more times than I would care to admit, at least. Alright, so looks like Burt is saving his levels in preparation and is going to be going around finding the Agma floor pretty quickly as well, methinks. Alright, so Thief is dead. Long live the fighter. And now Spellzapp's grind begins. Well, such as it will be with the Cerberus, but you get some good hits on them and make sure that they don't hit you too hard back, I suppose, and it's good to go. Looks like it's a fairly manageable one if Spellzapp is careful and doesn't get critted.
Doing a little bit of number crunching here, with the fighter at level 9 with a 20% bonus to hit to begin with, and that's Silver Axe 6. He's got a hit percentage of 82, which I believe, if me doing math on Twitch serves me properly, puts him in 3 attack range per round.
Nice. That's definitely better math than I could do, because I know very little about the deep math behind all of that.
I admit I'm cheating. I have an Excel spreadsheet set up on one of my monitors.
Ooh, cheater. Except totally not, because why would you not do that if you could? Hello, Canoe.
Well, I think Spellzapp might be getting in the air here within the next 10 to 15 minutes, if not sooner.
Possibly, if he can find him a ship.
Couldn't you use the canoe and go around from the north of Provoca and around?
That's true. You can make a long walk out of it, and it looks like he is probably going to do just that. Yeah. Again, it's one of those things that I thought about as I was saying it, going, no, you genius, he could just walk around and find a dead end in Elfland and find Titan's Trove in the castle. Oh yeah, Spellzapp looks happily to be legging it. Meanwhile, I think BurtReynoldz is going to do some out-of-the-way chess checks here. Well, if he could make it there at least.
Looks like, yep, he's going in the Northwest Agama, so he might be finding everything he needs here within the next few minutes.
Yeah, no kidding. As Spellzapp finds the Sharknado floor in Crescent Lake and a random seafloor in the volcano, and Burt finds his airmail. It looks like he is going to run back and resupply for a deeper dive as well. So both of our runners are pretty much on the same wavelengths, just slightly different times at it.
Which, that's going to be good for everyone watching. Nice competitive race instead of someone getting a quick 10-minute advantage and someone last locationing the floater, for instance.
Yeah. Well, both of these guys are really good at this game, even though Spellzapp was mentioning in the chat before the race that he hadn't actually run a seed in about a month prior to this. You sure can't tell. I mean, my heavens, if he had any rust, he basically took it off with an industrial strength blowtorch.
Yeah, I'm going to have to call baloney on his claim because it looks like he hasn't lost a step.
Yeah. Well, I ain't calling baloney on anything. I just think he's so good that he can take off that rust in about, half a second flat. Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, it looks like Spellzapp's going to have a hard time with this one. Then he promptly reset out of a gigantic pack of images and, I believe, images and wraiths.
I missed it. Was it stun touch or an ability for stun?
I think it was stun touch. So he's going to try it again, and this time gets away before they can hit him and finds a cube for his troubles. So, again, one of those that maybe isn't strictly necessary, but still good to have.
And then on top of it all, manages to find a Temple of Fiends below the Agama floor.
And Astos' crown resting in its depth. And the slab, my god! Speaking of which, props to our tracker, Danny3883, who is having to keep track of all this madness as it happens in lightning speed.
Yep. Braver person than I am, I will say that. And this is as someone who primarily does tracking.
Yeah. Well, I've tried my hand at some tracking as well, and it is definitely not a skill to be underestimated, especially with racers who are as good as these guys, and they're going to find stuff lickety split faster than you can blink, and you better not blink.
Yeah, especially better not blink, because I think we had a Garland on the screen, but I couldn't be sure.
Well, I mean, the good news is that Silver 6 did a pretty good job of sending Astos back to the Silver Age, so... Or not Astos, Garland, rather. But Sarah gets rescued, and right now that means absolutely nothing, because they haven't found the castle yet, but I'm sure they will fairly soon.
It's just a shame that we can't end up with Astos as a Garland. That would be absolutely hilarious to me.
Well, he can't put on Garland's skin, but Astos is shuffled around in this flag set, so he could potentially be masquerading as the king or Princess Sarah, or fill in the blank, basically. So he could have kind of pulled a "it was me, Dio" sort of moment, but he didn't, so at least not yet, anyway. Alright, so Spellzapp going to Canaria, finding the lovely town of Onrak, and finding pure potions. That's always a good pickup, especially since they've got a pretty decent amount of money. It looks like Burt is doing pretty much the same thing that Spellzapp did and training up on those Cerberus. Again, same wavelength, just slightly different timing.
And looks like Spellzapp's about to try his hand at ordeals.
Yeah, let's see if he can have any better time with the all-in-all maze than Burt did. I mean, Burt got to the top, but I don't recall if he got any of the treasure there. I don't believe he did. I think he might have gotten stopped by the trap tile.
Yeah, I think he went around. He didn't get anything of any interest, but I don't think he managed to get out with whatever was in that last chest.
Chad asking if Cerberus is the plural for Cerberus. I'm not certain, actually. I just more go from the octopi is the plural of octopus, so I kind of follow that logic. I mean, it could be wrong, but English is a weird language, and we all just sort of have to figure it out sometimes.
And with Burt going up to 15 with that fighter with the silver axe, he's now up to 4 swings in attack. So his survivability, at least with the fighter, just got a little bit better.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing because that's the most reliable weapon we've had to this point. Excuse me. So, yeah, it's good to see, especially on your fighter who you would hope would be your most durable party member anyway. You want to make sure that they are good to go as soon as possible.
And now the fun part is going to be trying to make certain that the tag-along stays on his feet.
Yeah. Yes, the lone tag. Okay, I can see why this is a problem now. Rock galls and mud galls that are making everybody's day unpleasant. So, yeah, I can see why Burt got turned around here. That trap tile is not fun for not terribly fun for any party, but it's certainly not fun for a 2-man. Hi, I just have one party member and then another tag-along party.
Yeah, but Spellzapp's going to give it another go, so maybe the second time will be the charm for him.
Yeah, if he can manage to get away from it, it should be okay. It's just a question of can he manage to get away from it. I don't know. Poor thief is getting smacked around real fast. I got away this time. Nice.
Just don't pull one of my numbers and accidentally walk back over the trap tile when you're coming back from getting the chest.
Yeah, I've done that a few times too. That's one of those feelings you just kind of get that sick little feeling in the pit of your stomach because you know you could have avoided it and you didn't. Alright, so it looks like on Burt's side, he is taking the Cerberus grind. Obviously, has both party members up now, but it looks like he's wanting to get his thief a few levels as well. Just to make sure that both party members can kind of stay upright. Hi, Bottle. And let's, yeah, it looks like Burt's continuing with the grind. I think he'll probably get the thief at least into the low teens before he goes. Before he tries to go any deeper, at least. Oh, no! Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, the incentivized item, or at least what would normally be the incentivized item, was a tent. Oh, that hurts.
Well, at least it's not a tent that's been passed down over 2,000 years.
Yeah, fair. Alright, so now the Spellzapp's done with that. Looks like he's heading over to the Ice Cave, and be interesting to see how well... Oh, never mind. Ice becomes the other side of the Titan's Trove.
Sadly, no wormhole shenanigans today.
Yeah, oh well. Alright, so goes back to Volcano. Let's see what's down that rabbit hole. Oh, we find ourselves on the vampire floor, which he decides he doesn't want a part of right now. Interesting. I suppose going to... Okay, he's going to go back to Crescent Lake and do a little bit of work there over on Sharknado. Well, yeah, that's fair. He does know where Rod is. I'm just surprised he didn't go ahead and check that the other side of that entrance while he was there. So, but I guess if tracker's showing he doesn't have the rod picked up yet. I guess they both noped out of it.
Yeah, that was going to be my initial thought, and then I saw the same thing you did.
Yeah,
and I trust Danny more than I trust myself on this. So if it's not lit, I'm going to presume he doesn't have it.
All right, finding some rough waters, literally and figuratively, I suppose.
And speaking of Danny, apparently Spellzapp lost a rod and hasn't gone back for it yet.
Yeah, I think they both, because they've both seen it in Earth Floor, and I think they both just kind of noped out of it. Since they know where it is, they can fairly easily go back and get it.
Oh, looking at Bert's menu just now, he has the rod, so it might be an advantage for him once he gets over to the volcano area and takes a look.
Yeah, maybe. We shall see. And there's that canoe, so Burt will get himself in the air fairly quickly, methinks. Oh. I was going to say, Spellzapp pushing through those lobsters and everything to... it finds the entrance to the ice cave, so now we can see what is in its depths, or at least some of its depths anyway. It looks like Burt is going to go ahead and also make the long walk to get the floater, and he's just going to roll right past Elfland. Unlike Spellzapp, who went ahead and checked those entrances, Burt's like, nah, I can go back and get them a lot faster when I have air travel. Oh, hi, Provoca.
At this point, I guess the only reason to even look into white magic at level 2 is to see what your knight can get when it comes time.
Yeah. Which, Invis is not a bad thing to find sitting in that shop.
Especially with shuffled item magic on, so there's no guarantee that you're going to find a defense sword or a white shirt or anything sitting around.
That's true. It is worth noting, though, there is a ruse item in the list. I've double-checked the flags to make sure there is a ruse item available. It's just a question of will they find it. And if they do find it, kudos to them. If not, well, oops. But it is available.
And watching Spellzapp whittle down the pirates one or two at a time, this is where it makes me nostalgic for having sweeper spells.
Yeah, I was about to say, boy, it makes you look wistfully at the good old days of level 1 nuke. All right, gets himself a ruby as a prize from the pirates, and of course, I believe Spellzapp is aware of both of the entrances to Titan's Trove, so he knows where to go to take care of that, certainly.
And looks like, speaking of, I think that's where he's going next.
Yep. I have to admit, I'm slightly surprised he just didn't go ahead and go north to the ice cave, because that was actually the other side. But maybe he forgot about that in the heat of the moment, which is certainly easy to do. Hi, explosives. Literally and figuratively, I suppose, as the phrase goes. I believe Titan's Trove, I'm kind of panning back down through the notes to make sure. Yes, Titan's Trove is one of the very few incentivized areas, including the locked chests in Marsh Cave. So that's guaranteed to have something, but it's one of the few places that is guaranteed to have much of anything. And speaking of Marsh, here's Marsh now.
Marsh Bottom, one floor up from where it should be. I wouldn't make the quip about is this even randomized, but it's not the third floor of the dungeon, so we'll let it go.
Yeah. Well, this. Oh, slimes have sleep touch. That's not exactly fun ever. Oh, but he barely manages to get away and finds out that it's a dud. Womp womp.
For 16 gold, I'd almost demand my money back.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say the thing is though that there could potentially be key items in any of the other chests, so you gotta look. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the key, so he can't get into the lock chests down here and find where there is definitely a key item of some sort. But still. Alright, I believe I'm going to double check to see what is available as far as the shuffled items are concerned. We know where the TNT is, we know where the ruby is, so the items that he could be finding in one of those chests, or in that marsh lock chest, is going to be either the adamant or the katana, which, considering that obviously the thief is one of the party members, katana is a very good thing to have.
At least as long as it doesn't roll negative.
Well, that's true. Well, I mean, even a negative katana is kind of better than, a sharp stick to the eye. Just depends on what you find as far as other weapons, I suppose.
Well, the other thing to keep in mind with the katana as well, you can't just use it by itself. You're going to need to find the tail and then find Bahamut on top of it.
Yeah, that's true. Obviously, you got to unlock its potential. Still not a bad thing to find. Alright, looks like Burt has found the pirates at Provoca and is slowly winnowing them down, so he's about to get his ruby. Meanwhile,
Spellzapp's trying to get out of Earth 4 with the rod that he's gone back and picked up.
Yep. And it looks like he's probably going to do so, unless something just kind of jumps out and surprises him, which I don't imagine that happening, really. No, he made it. So, Burt has his ruby, Spellzapp has his rod, and all is right with this weird, messed up world, at least for now.
Don't speak too soon. Give it about 5 minutes.
Hey, like I said, for now. Trust me, I'm gonna hedge my bets as much as I can with a crazy, messed up map like this.
Which, all things told, is probably the smart play.
Yeah, and why I don't play these entrance floor town shuffle crazy madness insanities. I'll let other people run them. I'll just commentate and have fun. And it looks like our runners are converging again because they are now both on the vampire floor, where Spellzapp finds a ship in a box.
At least better that the ship was in there than in TFC Earth.
That's true. I mean, since they have the floater, the ship has limited utility, but still. Yeah, that TFC anything is a nasty place to put, well, anything, frankly.
Just as long as we don't find an out-of-bounds bat in one of those boxes, we'll be happy.
Man, if they can make one of those fit in the box, I think I actually might want to see it. Just see that thing pop out and go, surprise! Also, that is a nice item magic find on Burt's end, a saber staff.
Well, playing the role with the power bonk today.
Oh yeah, no kidding. And of course, Spellzapp picks it up as well, and both of them decide the fighter is a good person to have a sabered stick. Which, I agree.
Alright. The rod lock looks like it leads into Volcano 3. And that's going to end up... Oh, Lefane. Alrighty then.
Yeah. Well, they've got the slab. They just hadn't been able to find Melman to translate it yet, so... Yep. Speaking of Melman, another one of the flags that is turned on today is Zozo Melman. So should our runners happen to find it, well, they're going to have some fun running around those sand tiles.
I will admit that's actually caught me off guard on a couple of occasions, and this coming from someone who claims Final Fantasy VI is his favorite game of all time, so I should be used to Zozo stuff.
Yeah. I was going to say, well, I salute your taste, good sir, because I share it. And let's see. Oh, Spellzapp finds Vanilla Sarda. Hello. What are the chances of that?
What are the chances of a katana being at Sarda? Looks like it's pretty good.
Yeah. That's definitely a good thing to find, and that means, well, it means that I guess the chances the incentivized items in odd places has gone down to a grand total of 1. Unless you could consider that a dud, which that's an awfully good dud.
Looks like a rather short proc gen waterfall today.
Ha! Well, that's good news for the runners. It means they ain't got to run around too terribly much. And also the trap tile looks to be pretty doable, so we'll see. Oh, and the robot was Astos all along.
I'm sorry, I will forever maintain that if Astos is the robot, they are losing a golden opportunity for an exterminate joke here.
Well, what they were not losing the opportunity for was Toxic, which took down the thief. Fortunately, the fighter was able to make it through, and now he's going to go loot loot the robot king's treasures, and not much of use, sadly. And it looks like we have the asterisk floor there on Spellzapp side, and Burt is going to head down to the terminal point of the Agama floor. Let's see if we've got anything interesting here. Nothing yet on Spellzapp side. Burt gets to deal with those lovely images and wraiths, and is able to get away a lot faster than Spellzapp was, so there's the cube for him.
And then the entire left side of the spider, nothing but money and a couple assorted consumables, so good idea to reset out.
Yeah. Yeah, just go ahead and speed up that other end of it. Alright, Burt takes down the Garland with very little trouble, rescues the princess, to the cheering of, well, everybody in chat at least. Alright, looks like Spellzapp is about to head to that... Oh, finds himself a Cardia floor. Meanwhile, Burt finds his crown and slab waiting for him, so good times there. And Opal +4, hello. I guess I'm a little surprised that Spellzapp actually exited and noped out of that. And I would have been... I guess it would have taken a little bit of time to go back, but...
And in the meantime, Melmon's in the Earth Cave. You're calling whether that's actually an improvement on the location or not.
Yeah, I plead the fifth on that one. Did get himself a nice silver +5 for the thief, though, so good times, good news on that one. And we have ourselves a translated slab, so now the Lefanish hiding at the bottom can talk to us and tell us their secrets and whatnot. Alright, so what is in Vanilla Melmond? Oh, it's part of the ice cave.
Taking a look at the numbers here, unless the... Actually, I put that in the wrong area, but unless the gold rolls a little bit higher, that silver bracelet might be the best thing they find until Opal shows up.
Yeah, that's understandable. It looks like we got ourselves an Ice +5 shield, which is a pretty fantastic find, too, for Spellzapp. Let's see, Burt taking on that red dragon, and not doing as well at it as he might have thought, or liked, I suppose. So he's going to go ahead and put that Saber Cane to work, which is definitely understandable. Oh, hello, Poison. How are you doing?
And it's not even a damage poison, so that makes it a little bit trickier.
Yeah. Oh, but he's able to get through it, though. And we'll see if there's anything of consequence hiding in that chest. Meanwhile, Spellzapp has found the armory floor in Gaia. So lots of potential key item locations here. Another Ice +5.
Well, that one might be good for when class change comes with a ninja.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be an excellent thing to hang on to for that. And the fire chest became an Opal -1, Opal bracelet -1, which is not the worst thing in the world, but you hate to see the minus on it.
Opal gauntlet -1 anyway.
Yeah, sorry.
It happens. I know we were just talking about the Opal Cheerio a moment ago.
Speaking of opals, and Opal Shield, my goodness. It's all coming up opals today. All right.
I think the Spellzapp reset out after finding that opal, so I guess it wasn't all that important to him at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, he obviously can't equip them yet because the fighter's not promoted. I'm a little surprised, though, that he's at least not maybe getting rid of some of the other stuff in the two other party members' inventories that are being used as great storage space, and just kind of hanging on to them for when the fighter does promote. Of course, that's assuming the fighter promotes, I suppose.
Meanwhile, I didn't see exactly where Matoya's cave is, but she was holding a Warple 4 in one of the treasure chests.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think Spellzapp had found that a short time ago, and actually just found a second one, so he's got some pretty good swords for, well, both of... Oh, and another katana, hello.
Dual-wielding ninjas when?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's been a cry of the community for a while, but hey, I mean, it just further reinforces it. So for while we've got let's see, Burt is heading through the asterisk floor, and looks like Spellzapp has found some EXPs, which if he can get them taken down, I mean, it's obviously not the best grind, but hey, you'll take some good experience from those guys any day of the week.
I believe the requisite joke would be "and twice on Sunday," which, well, look where we're at.
Yeah, fair. Chat pointing out that the dual-wielding ninjas will come in when sword chucks are introduced. Well, I was going to say, I mean, if you're an 8-bit theater fan, those were introduced a long time ago, so, I mean, come on, Randomizer, get on with it. Alright, looks like Spellzapp's found another Cardia floor for his armory troubles, and finds a lot of money, but just money. Alright, so now that that's been cleaned out, go ahead and see what I thought he was going to go to Vanilla Lafane, but he chooses not to do so yet. Maybe he's going to go to actual Lafane. Huh, interesting.
After he tries to land on the volcano first.
Yeah, that's not exactly good for anybody's health, unfortunately. Alright, looks like, I'm kind of curious to see if Spellzapp might be getting might have gotten turned around a little bit, trying to get back to where he wants to go. Which, again, entrance floor, town, everything shuffled. Brain farts are pretty much going to be par for the course. It's no qualm or no attesting to any sort of poor ability at all. It's just, these are crazy. And God bless you for trying to keep up with them.
Well, at least he's in the right dungeon now, because Lafane is on the 3rd floor here after you get past the Earthlock.
Yeah. So that likely is it. He just got turned around slightly. And Burt finding out that our robot was a kindly old king this time. Alright, there we go. So Spellzapp gets down to the bottom of Lefane. And is it something or is it a dud? It's the chime, so it's our good old vanilla. Which, if it's not a dud, it's going to be vanilla, so there you go. Alright, so that opens up, obviously, the Mirage Tower entrance now for Spellzapp, so probably going to go check that out, because the geography works awfully well for just flying straight down and going for it. And it is Sky 3, so lots more treasure chests and key item possibilities. So let's see if we've got anything magical hiding here. Pro-Cape not bad, even if it is -1.
Pro-Cape -1 is still 7 absorb, and that's still going to be the best thing a thief can even equip at the moment.
Yeah. But again, Nope's out of it. And I might have to ask Spellzapp about him choosing to kind of Nope out of some of these items so far. It's been interesting strategy. I mean, obviously if he goes back and gets them later, that's one thing, but to not get rid of, for instance, like a wood shield +1, just drop it and then make room for stuff, I'm admitting I'm a little puzzled.
And then meanwhile, he finds Elflin Castle beyond Sky 4, so now we know where to go when we find the herb.
Yep. Just have to find it first. Alright, so looks like Lefane is next on the calendar, and it seems Burt is... Well, Burt's pretty much... Well, as we've mentioned already a couple of times, same ideas, just slightly different timing. Also, hi mermaids, how are you doing? Don't mind us while we rob you of all your worldly treasures. Okay, so let's see if we've got anything good on the mermaids floor. Not yet. Just gotten money and a couple of knickknacks, but
the Silver Sword 2 might have been better in a pinch earlier.
Yeah, that poor Silver Sword got outclassed, unfortunately, but it's not a bad find, but unfortunately with everything else that's already in play, it's whoops. So, last 2 treasure chests, is there anything key item-y here? And it looks like the answer is... sorry. So, the mermaid's floor ends up being a total bust, sadly. Oh, max price adamant, hello.
Well, that means now if we find the dwarf cave, we don't have to do a double or triple dip with that.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, because we've already got the TNT, we've got the adamant, and so, yeah, just go ahead and take care of all the dwarves' problems at once.
And mush split add-on rack.
Yep. I mean, it's good. It's a good thing to find at the beginning of the dungeon like that, instead of, say, 5 floors down, and then you go, oh crap, because you have to get back to it again to go the other direction, and then it takes forever. Of course, we haven't found C-Split yet, if I remember correctly, so we could still potentially get a little bit of an entrance floor shuffle wombo combo, but we shall see.
I don't know why you'd be wishing such ill will on us, except to say that it would be absolutely hilarious.
I'm not really wishing it on them exactly, but I'm certainly, it's just noting it as a distinct possibility, because I have seen that sort of thing before. And chat pointing out that X-Cal is going to look real nice, too. Absolutely it will. Because we have yet to see any sort of a Mazamune, so right now that fighter is wielding the silver +6 and liking it somewhat against these cards.
To bring up a point with that, the redistributed wealth in this seed is at Melmon level, and if memory serves, I don't believe a Mazamune gets rolled with that.
Well, it's hard to say. The Melman level is the lowest level in regards to the wealth. So, yeah, that's one of those things that I don't really know the particulars of, since all these new lovely flags came online in the middle of fun lifetimes for me. So I haven't had much of a chance to really analyze them or do much with them. But all the same, though, it's Excal's definitely going to be nice no matter what. Oh, hello, promotion. Well, at least promotion item.
Now, it would be absolutely hilarious if he goes up here and there's Bahamut.
Wouldn't it, though? Oh, he finds Elfland.
Close enough.
Yeah. So, Spellzapp with the tail now. Unfortunately, like you said, we haven't found haven't found Bahamut yet, so we do know at the very least that Bahamut is not going to be Astos in disguise, because we've already ferreted out that filthy little king.
Quake and Warp at level 4, so potential shenanigans for the ninja incoming.
Yeah. And we'd also seen Ruse at White level 3, which is definitely good to see. As well as Locke. So, good Elfland all in all.
I missed which slot Ruse was in, so I can't tell if it was night learnable or not.
I believe it was slot 3. I'm not certain, though. I'm going to pan back to notes and see if we've got that on there. Oh, but also, we found not Astos, who, in the south part of the Marsh Split, which gave us the crown, or gave us, not crown, the crystal. So now we can go give Matoya her eyes back. Alright, so looks like Burt is pillaging the armory while Spellzapp goes into the waterfall and finds a ruse stick. There you go. That's definitely something to find.
At this point, about the only thing that you could possibly want would be another ribbon, because you have most of your endgame armor. And oh, hello, Bahamut.
I was going to say, you were just saying. Alright, so Spellzapp gets to grow up and become big strapping fighters and knights. And now, it's time for maybe a little bit of a realization that, oh, I don't have the opal stuff that I left behind. But that ice shield will definitely go well on the... he does not have it, actually. Never mind, then. Interesting. Okay, so, at least equip some of the better stuff, and go ahead and see about getting that katana on the thief, definitely, so...
Yeah, I believe he found the second ice shield and then noped out of it, so... It might be a thing he goes back for.
Yeah. And I'll be interested to see if he does that, because I mentioned before that given what he was doing as far as noping out of a lot of those items, I was curious as to why he hadn't gone ahead and just picked them up and kind of cleaned out his inventory to hold them. But if he goes back for them now, then I'll have my reason. If not, well, I guess it'll be a question for post.
Looks like Bert's back at the Cerebi again, or Cerebus, I guess, as chat pointed out to us earlier.
The Cerebi!
This isn't Pokemon!
Sad thing is, I've really only been able to get that joke for about the last year or so, because I hadn't played very much Pokemon myself, so... Alright, Spellzapp exploring the trap tiles in Earth, finding the first one to be not very appealing and deciding he had better options elsewhere, which he does. I mean, we know he does. Alright, and now I expect off to explore the wilds of Cardia and see what they... Actually, hi, dwarves! Hello, that's a good find. Also, Heal 2's not bad either.
One of the things I do like about one of the new settings they have on here is if you have the Hooray Dwarf set to be guillotined, they actually change the different lines from seed to seed.
Huh, interesting. So that X-Cal that chat was talking about became an X-Cal +5, which has to be music to, well, Spellzapp now, and probably music to Burt whenever he is able to find it. So, oh boy. And the Hooray Dwarf gets a couple of pats on the head, which is definitely very nice of Spellzapp, since it looks like the Hooray Dwarf cannot be guillotined.
Either that or he has Spare the Hooray Dwarf, which is also a fun % option.
Ah, that's fair. Alright, looks like Spellzapp has found Canaria Castle, and the king is a dud, and the princess is a dud, and the castle is just full of duds.
And probably when we find the key, the back 6 chests will also be full of duds.
Yeah, well, I was going to say Canaria Locked is not incentivized, so it's a distinct possibility. Now, Marsh Locked is, so that could potentially be a bona fide dud or not. Also, we found the C split, which became a C room, which became Kraken. I mean, it's randomized, but it's kind of not randomized-ish.
Yeah, that one was at the Tiny Cardia Island.
Yep. Which is one you typically wouldn't check, but since the dead ends are included in this shuffle, yeah, you gotta check it. Gotta do all your homework. Otherwise, I'll give you a bad grade on the assignment.
Question from chat: how much in the Save Kill Hooray Dwarf incentive? At last check, it was 2,521 gold pieces for Kill the Hooray Dwarf and a rotting fish for Save.
Well, at least we could give the fish to the knights who say knee. Maybe they'll take it.
Oh, you just made my day with that. Thank you.
Hey, Darion. Alright, so let's see if Spellzapp can take down Kraken. And I expect with an X-Cal 5 and Katana Fighter and Ninja, probably not bad chances. If, well, assuming that Kraken doesn't hit too hard, that is. I don't believe these were messed with as far as these flags were concerned. I certainly don't remember seeing any lovely clamps for them, so I'm double checking that now as we get ourselves some hits going off there. And no, the bosses are not clamped. Well, they're 100 to 200, but they're not clamped per se.
Yeah, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue unless Kraken rolled high on the 200% and has like 17 hits or some nonsense like that.
Doesn't look like it, but he does have lit too. And so yeah, rolling pretty good health, it seems. Because we've got a bunch of crits going off here, and it's not really taking down the Tentacled Wonder. And Burt doing a full clear of Earth 1, unlike Spellzapp, who didn't really get much of anything out of there. But Kraken goes down, and Ding's Light Warriors are 18 and 20, so he lights up an orb. I believe the first orb lit at 56 minutes, 30 seconds.
Yep, that's the first one that we've seen on here.
Alright, so it's time to see what's on the other side of the C-split, and it is Sky 1, at least to start with. And then a Cardia dead end, so out we go.
Well, Tiny Cardia served its purpose. It held a fiend. It doesn't have a fiend anymore, so we can just now promptly forget it exists again.
Yeah, yep. Oh well. Alright, so Spellzapp finding the real prize as far as Cardia treasure areas are concerned, finds himself at Pro Cape and nopes out of it again. All right, so now we have the exploration of vanilla ordeals, and we shall see what that has in store. Burt finds himself the C-split and is going to go south and find the castle. So, let's see, he does have the crown, so he can go ahead and take care of that. Although, maybe he already did it, because he just kind of zipped right back out. Maybe he's wanting to go, apparently lap the stairs. Okay.
Meanwhile, at the Vanilla Ordeals, we have found Gaia with gold 3s and pro rings to boot.
Oh yeah, pro rings +5, so holy cow. Yeah, that's definitely a very good Gaia so far. Of course, he's yet to see what the fairy gives him, but we shall find that out in just a moment. Alright, and the fairy has the Oxio. Well, actually, I keep forgetting that it's vanilla turn-ins, so I'm so used to everything being randomized that when it's not randomized, my brain gets randomized, apparently.
Oh, thank goodness, I'm not the only one.
Like, wait, what? That's where it's supposed to be? What world is this? At any rate, well, we know where Onrak is, so now with that Oxyale in hand, Spellzapp can go plumb its depths. And that, I suspect, is probably where he's headed. Although, again, keeping track of all this is a Herculean task for anybody, and I was right. Yay! Yeah, I totally knew it all along. Sure. Exactly.
We'll just go with that then, shall we?
Yeah, we'll pretend that was all me. I figured that was the move he was making. I just wasn't sure if that was the right entrance, to be fair.
Yeah, it was. I actually have one of the tracking utilities brought up here in a separate window just to try to keep my head straight on this.
Oh, goodness. See, I'm old school when it comes to tracking stuff like that. I have to write stuff down. I found when I was competing in the spring tournament and the Duckling Derby, like I can't really use like computerized trackers. I got to write stuff down. It's probably a legacy of being born in the 80s and, old fart and blah, 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 blah. But I just, I have to write stuff down in order to really kind of keep it in memory.
Sir, as someone who was born in 1981, I must say it is not an old man bias. I prefer to do all my stuff on computers, so it's just personal preference.
Yep. Well, I was going to say then, we both share a birth year then. Hooray! Alright, so Spellzapp has found Lich and is going to probably turn him into a speed bump shortly. Well, not quite as shortly as he might have liked.
And by my count, that's all 4 fiends accounted for.
Yep. I mean, it's understandable because we were kind of running out of entrances, so you would hope you would find it there. Otherwise, you kind of start wondering what's going on. So it looks like we've got ourselves a bit of a mix here in chat as far as who favors what. It's understandable. It's kind of interesting that when I learned to type in typing class, we actually had the old school typewriters with the correction tape and all that nonsense. And then I think a year or two later, they started putting in computers, and I was so mad because I really wanted to play on computers for my typing class, but oh well, c'est la vie.
Yeah, I was lucky. When I got to do my introduction to computer technology, they had just phased out typewriters in my school, so I kind of lucked out with that.
So you didn't have to learn the joys of, okay, class, take out your correction tape, and it was this weird, goopy piece of cellophane paper. And okay, shove it into the ribbon. Okay, all right, now type what you want to untype. Okay. Oh, you missed? Oh, good job. You got to roll it back, do it again. So, people go on.
I kind of had the best of both worlds. My family had a typewriter with built-in correction tape, so I kind of had it that way too.
Well, I mean, well, still, you kind of had a little bit of an easier shtick even with that. God, here we
we
are
should
trading
probably
stories.
get back to focusing on race instead of old man yelling at cloud.jpg.
Fair. Well, I mean, it's a good time to get back to it, too, because Burt just grew up. So, I mean, this is a good time for everybody, and you must celebrate this rite of passage. Meanwhile, Spellzapp's on the Bridge of Destiny, and the thief is face down. Uh-oh. That's not the best of ideas, or best of situations, but, I mean, still, solo fighter with good equipment can pretty much get through darn near anything, unless it's a nuke to the face. And even then, he'd still take at least one nuke to the face.
I'm trying to crunch a few numbers here for a moment. Just give me a sec.
Sure, no worries. Alright, so Spellzapp's taking on Tiamat and is getting rused up and trying to obviously get that damage avoidance, which is certainly key if you're a solo fighter trying to take care of this little shindig. We got damage poison, which fortunately doesn't do too much to the fighter, so that's good news. Thunder, which also doesn't do a whole lot. Kind of chip damage on Tia's side, and start swinging with the fighter. 5 hits, 504, so those saber applications definitely going to work. 4 hits, 281 on the second round, and then 5 hits, 627. So we got ourselves a bit of a beefy Tia, but 5 hits, about 500 damage, doesn't quite take Tia down. And 5 hits, 428 does. So Spellzapp has got that orb lit and is ready to basically, well, heals the fighter first. Good move. You don't want any last-minute fiends or last-minute enemies popping up and ruining your day. But makes it out and gets that third orb lit, and it just has Carrie to take down and heads immediately over to go visit the lovely fiery lass.
I was looking at the menu while Spellzapp was healing up. I thought that he might have the ninja dropped because it was at the perfect level for him, but he's exactly halfway between his 4th and 5th hit with the ninja, so it could just be a simple fact of just trying to buff up the fighter at this point.
Yeah, suppose so. Alright, so it looks like Burt was burning off some encounters before going through the marsh split, which I presume was why he was running circles around the stairs earlier. And, well, if Spellzapp can get through a lovely red dragon, then we will have ourselves a lich fight or a carry fight rather, on screen. But it looks like the red dragon is not wanting to be messed with until that hit. But yeah, the good news is Spellzapp's fighter is going to be nice and meaty by the time we get into Topher, which it is also worth mentioning as we get the carry fight pulled up. We do have a shortened Topher today, so the runners don't have to worry about going through the whole full-on dippity-doo. They just got to hit that Topher, and they're on Chaos Floor with a couple of Fiend refights to deal with. So it's so it'll be interesting. All right, so that first hit, only hit, 3 hits, 822, and Carrie goes down like a sack of potatoes. Meanwhile, Burt is picking up some fighter and ninja magic over there, and I assume Spellzapp is probably going to at least do a little bit of that himself. Yeah, so going to go ahead and...
Definitely a good call, especially to pick up life just to have it as a backup.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, because it doesn't matter in regards to the magic levels. You can just go ahead and get those levels and then apply the magic to it, and ta-da, you have X amount of uses of whatever magic you have. So it's like it was, I think Fighter had 2 uses of it? I couldn't quite tell. It was a super fast menu on Spellzapp's side, but I think it was 2 uses.
That sounds about right, given about the time that he went and promoted.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely having that life spell ready to go is a huge benefit, no matter fighter or, you know, whether you're a knight or a ninja or, well, a knight or a white mage, rather. So Spellzapp is in Topher going after Tia 2, and the ninja gets stunned and flattened pretty much immediately. Meanwhile, he is able to get the ruses up on the fighter, so fortunately, a very punchy Tia is not going to be able to do a whole heck of a lot. Lit 2 does a smidge, but not really much worth speaking of. Tia has Cure 4.
Better we find it on Tia than we find it on Chaos.
And not only do we find it on Tia, we find it on Tia before Tia had gotten damaged, so it does a grand total of nothing. And those saber casts are definitely going well, because we've got, I think, 1,400 damage on Tiamat now, and still 1,400 damage. A crit gets through with a punch. So that fighter's in a little, oh boy, fighter's in trouble. Fighter's getting critted. Fighter's not critting back, and Spellzapp goes down. Ooh, yuck. 3 crits from Tia in a row was nasty.
Yeah, and with 1 to 200% stats all around, Tia can roll up to 2,200 HP. So if we're looking at about, you said 1,500 by that point, and Irongol now, she rolled well up on the high side.
Yeah. Alright, so this time he chooses to go right and finds a Relich, which promptly swings both of the fighters at. Pretty heavy thunder, but since we know where Cure 4 is... Oh, hi, Nuclear. Alright, so we've got a couple of big spells out of the way in the old spell pool, and we also have Lich out of the way. I see Burt has made his way into the ice cave, where he finds a tripe tile full of lots of Agamas, which, I mean, not bad grinding, but not exactly what you want to see to try to make progress. Alright, on Spellzapp side, we have Kraken squared. So the fighter goes ahead and starts rusing, the ninja goes ahead and starts swinging. And looks like... Oh, Tornado does some poor work to the ninja. Poor ninja. But life is not about the ninja right now. It's about getting that fighter ready, and it looks like, at least ruse-wise, it is ready to go. Not hitting terribly hard, though, so we got more applications of that saber stick, which is definitely understandable. And Kraken has fast. That's not exactly what you want to see. Not the worst thing in the history of mankind, but it's not fun.
Yeah, considering that, again, with the 1 to 2 times roll, Kraken can roll up to 16 hits.
Yeah. Fortunately, the Tentacled Wonder goes down again, and Burt finds himself a Cure 3 hammer over in the ice cave. That's a pretty nice pickup for your self-healing needs.
In the meantime, looks like we're about to have a chaos fight here in about 20 seconds.
Yep. So Spellzapp is getting everything ready. The poor ninja is basically going to be a shock absorber for this fight, it seems. And Spellzapp goes ahead and puts the Vorpal +4 on the fighter to get that crit chance in. And, alright, we have ourselves a chaos fight. 2 hits, 71 from the ninja. The ninja gets about half his HP stolen from him in one big swoop. And the rest of it goes in the second, so down goes the ninja. The ruse sticks are coming up for Spellzapp. And fortunately, a punchy chaos proceeds to miss. So we're seeing Spellzapp get all sabered up, and is going to continue on with it to get some good heavy bonking going on. Looks like we have a very punch-happy chaos, so those ruses are coming very much in handy right now. Alright, so we've got, I think, 5 applications of Saber, and we have 5 hits, 614. Another miss from Chaos. We have 2 hits, I believe, 43 damage. Then we have 3 hits, 289. Chaos very punchy, which is excellent for Spellzapp. 4 hits, 848. And 3 hits, 754. Chaos misses again and again. Then 4 hits, 12 damage, and GG. Spellzapp finishing with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 11 minutes, 48 seconds. And after seeing the dot done, BurtReynoldz promptly steps away from the race, has forfeited, and so our runners are through, and we're going to see if we can get either or both of them on for an interview. So GG's to Spellzapp. That was quite the race.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I had it at about 3,600 when Chaos dropped, so depending on how much the overkill on that 12-12 was, probably rolled at least 150 or better.
Yeah. Oh, that's definitely understandable. I mean, the 100 to 200% obviously could give you some pretty beefy bosses if the stats roll the right way, and we saw relatively mixed bits on that, but generally speaking, it worked out pretty darn well, or pretty, at least well for the runners anyway.
Yep, I certainly don't see Spellzapp complaining too much given that result.
Yes, indeed. It was definitely a great race all around, and as much as Spellzapp may have rued not having run a seed in a month, I would say the rust was very, very slight, if at all, because that was a pretty resounding victory.
Yep, he's definitely a person I wouldn't want to be facing off with in a race, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a reason, again, that we are here in the broadcast booth and they are the ones running these fun things. All right, looks like we have a post-race interview to conduct, so GG.
Hey, thanks, Karant.
So, what were your thoughts on that seed, all in all?
It went a lot easier than my practice seeds, I think. Really, the main thing was you wanted to get levels early, and the Silver 6, Silver Axe 6, and the hot dogs was really kind of the key to breaking it open. Also didn't help that all the loose items were basically in that one location, so...
Yeah, we saw that when we were obviously commentating. We're just sitting there going, well, that's what happens when you get all the loose progression items and everything just kind of sitting there going, hi. Oh, hi, neighbor. Oh, hi, other neighbor. How are you doing?
Yeah, it was really nice. I was planning for the end game. I was looking for the tail. I knew I had all of my progression items to get through, to see all the locations, basically. But I was still looking for that tail, and on the way I found the ruse staff, where I was like, okay, well, I don't really need the tail. But then I found the tail anyway, and I was like, okay, whatever, we'll class change. It'll be fine. But having that saber stick and the ruse stick kind of made it easier than what I practiced for. I was anticipating using both classes, but getting those two items kind of made it a one-man show.
Yeah, we noted that when you were getting toward the end, when you were going through the initial fiend fights, you had the ninja just basically eating dirt.
Yeah, I need just a couple more levels on the fighter.
Yeah. I did have a question, actually, in regards to the fighter that I was puzzling me a little bit, admittedly. I noticed you were picking up some of the opal equipment that was plus, that was blessed. Mm-hmm. And I noticed you were noping out of a lot of it. So I couldn't quite figure out what was going on with that. So maybe you could kind of give me a little bit of sneak peek.
Yeah, I felt like with the ribbon and the +5 shield, it was pretty much the same for me, at least.
Okay.
Some of it was probably just time saves, or I wanted to reset out of something. I don't remember exactly, but I think that's probably what it was. I just wanted to, shave off a couple seconds and not having to walk it out.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm so used to, of course, when I run it myself, I'm so used to going, oh, great, that's fantastic fighter equipment. Let me rearrange everything in my ever-living inventory to make sure I save it somewhere. So I was just like, I wonder. So I figured I would just inquire about that as far as just how you were doing was concerned. But it's interesting, of course, you mentioning in chat that you hadn't run a seed in about a month. The only way I could have told that you had not really raced in a month would have been you saying it in chat, because I'm sitting here going like, well, this is pretty typical Spellzapp stuff.
Yeah, I actually did practice a little bit. I just wanted to psych y'all out a little bit.
I see.
I mean, I did a couple practice seeds of this, so I actually I really like the flags. They kind of usually have a tough early game. I wouldn't mind tossing in even some spellcasters just with the tiered shuffle spell list. You're not going to get the usual, lit 3s, fades, nukes early anyway. So I think this is a good flag set, I think, to make a base out of, to kind of make a tougher early game flag set, and then lead into a relatively normal floor entrance shuffle.
Yeah. Well, Shadow, did you have any questions for Spellzapp?
You've pretty much covered everything that I was thinking of asking. I mean, I did see that he had dropped a couple of Ice Shield 5s, and then after seeing the ninja pretty much just guarding against the floor for the latter half of the game, I figured it was just he's just there for cannon fodder. We don't need to equip him. So I pretty much drew my conclusions from that.
Well, the funny thing was I actually thought I got 2 Ice Shields plus 5. At one point I went to go equip the ninja, and I was like, hey, where'd the other one go? But at that point I was like, well, I already kind of know I'm not going to use the ninja, or I just was like, here, I have a silver shield, you'll be fine.
Yeah. That's kind of what I figured, honestly, when I was watching you do that last menu, because you had found it, and I think you probably time saved out of it. I don't remember if you time saved out of it or if you'd gotten bounced out of it. But yeah, when I saw you doing that, I figured that probably was what was going on. Well, all right. Well, thank you for a great race. I appreciate you racing with us, and GG's to BurtReynoldz as well. Thank you guys for putting on a good show for us today, and I hope the rest of your day goes well. So thank you. I want to go ahead and give shout outs to everybody as we're getting ready to close out. Spellzapp, did you have any final thoughts before we go?
Yeah, big GG's to Burt. He's a fierce competitor and came with some really great flags today. And, thanks you guys for doing the comms, and thanks Danny for the tracking. And everybody for showing out to watch the race.
Absolutely. And as we get ready to close out for today, I want to echo all those shout outs. Thank you to Danny, who was able to keep track of all this madness today. And thank you to the folks at Speed Gaming 3 for letting us invade and take up residence in their channel for a bit. Thank you to Shadow Flames, my co-com. Much appreciated, sir.
Yep, not a problem. And thank you for stepping up to assist with this so we could spare everyone my incredibly poor Michael Buffer impersonation.
I'm sure it's no worse than mine. Actually, it's probably better than mine. At any rate, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you all on this fine Sunday afternoon or morning or wherever, depending on where you are. I will mention that we do have the first week of the Final Fantasy Randomizer Fall League later tonight, so make sure to tune in to that as well. So stick around to your local Final Fantasy Randomizer channels for the exciting Fall League action this evening and throughout the fall. And I will say, I guess, we will head out for now. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you all have a great evening. Tune in to the Fall League on Speed Gaming 2. And with that, I think we will step aside. So thank you guys, and have a great rest of your Sunday.